really hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, like, and click the bell to be notified of more fantastic music content just like this. Welcome to the Need2Know Music Show with me, Ronan MacManus, here on Switchbox TV. And today I'm joined by dance music singer-songwriter, Joe Killington. How are you, mate?
Oh, Ronan, I'm brilliant, mate, and all the better for being on your show.
Lovely. Look at the charm offensive straight away. There we are. How are we? How are we getting on?
Yeah, good, mate.
It's been a bit of a weird year, isn't it? Like, I mean, so far.
Sure has.
But you've been releasing music despite any possible drawbacks. Obviously, well, obvious drawbacks with being in the music business. So, how have you found this year for yourself? What plans ruined, and how have you been dealing with making new plans?
Well, I'll be honest. I've really thrived in this kind of time. It's weird because at first, when lockdown started, I built a pub in my back garden.
Essentials.
Essentials, and I was just Zooming with people, which was the first time I've ever used Zoom and stuff like that. And then in the end, got really used to it, and I've had quite a few dance cuts through it. You know, like I've been getting sent tracks from my publisher, Notting Hill, and from other people, and just been writing top lines on them, and people have been taking them. So, and then I've had loads of releases through the lockdown. It's been hard. I've got 2 children as well, so it's been mad. It's been hard for the kids as well, you know what I mean? Because it's not normal for them, you know. They'll say when they're older, "Oh, we lived through the lockdown." You know.
No, we lived through it. We lived through it. They ate sweets through it. That's what they did.
Well, that's right. That's right. Well, so did I. I ate sweets.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I confess. So you're normally like, are you normally doing songwriting sessions in person? Is that normally how you work?
Yeah. I mean, I've done one today. I'm with Majestic. He's on Kiss FM. We had a cracker today. Wrote a really good song, and he was just round the corner from me actually, which was really good. And and I do sessions with people, but at the moment, there is people who's like, no, we don't want to do it. And obviously, if we have ever got a risk, then we won't do the session. And I've been tested for COVID, and it came back negative, which was great.
That's good. Yeah, so you're able to, but like, have you been doing more of that Zoom back and forth thing? And I know I spoke to a few guys, especially people over in Nashville, who like they're used to doing these sessions and like songwriting sessions all day every day, and everything's sort of gone to this sort of Zoom, which brings different things because it's bringing like a more of a back and forth relationship rather than playing together. Have you been doing those Zoom writing sessions?
Yeah, all the time. And I quite like the back and forth thing. It's not as easy and as flowing as being in the room with someone. Being in the room is just magic. I love co-writing as well. I'm not so much I can write on my own, but I don't enjoy it at all, really.
Right, you like bouncing off somebody else.
I love bouncing and you know, it's always been my way. I love being in a studio with mates, more or less, you know, and just having a laugh and coming up with something.
Doesn't feel like a real job then, does it? I mean, this is the thing.
I feel guilty. I feel guilty, mate. I used to be a dustman. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Well, this is it. But if you're not going to make it fun, then you may as well go and do a job that inherently isn't fun, you know. The good thing about this is it can be, you know, so.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but I do find it's quite good. Like I said, it's weird because you can't use the audio on your phone as a voice memo. So as we get an idea, they'll send me the track, then I'll have to listen to it through my little laptop speakers, write some melodies and some lyric ideas, record that in my phone, send it back into a WhatsApp group. Then they'll listen to it and say, yeah, we like that. And that's how we do it. And in the end, I've become quite a whiz at it. And like we're doing it quite good together. So it's been nice.
That's but a strange way of doing it, but if it's working, it's working.
It's crazy. Do you know what? You just make anything work, no matter what happens. I've got to write. If I don't write, I'm not happy. You know, I need to be writing. So whether it's the last thing just on the phone and have to do it that way, I don't wanna, but you've got to do it any way I can.
Exactly. And so is that something you've always done? What was your childhood like? What sort of age did you get into music? But was it a musical family you come from?
Yeah, well, always music in the nut house, really. Like everyone's, I think.
Where was it?
Hackney, East London.
Oh, Hackney, yeah.
Yeah, Hackney boy, all family from Hackney, massive family, Killington family, and just always music. I had two older brothers. My dad was used to love a drink, and he was one of the old boys, you know. But he used to come home and show me Dylan records when I was a kid, when I was 8, when I was 10, and tell me all about the lyrics. This is the Hurricane, and he's talking about Reuben Carter. You know, he learnt me and got me so much into that side that I fell in love. I've got a tattoo of Dylan on my arm actually.
I just love his. I always say this about like way that Dylan was able to, like every line is a killer, isn't it? And like he can do an entire song. No, and it's like you talk like, and you just rhyme. He could do like a whole song where it's just rhyme after rhyme after rhyme, and it's the same rhyme. It's the same vowel sound is rhyming, and there's still no wasted lines. I mean, the guy is just unreal. I mean,
he's just an alien, like, and you know, pumps don't work because the van will slow the handles. It's just one of my favourites of all time. And Stevie and my mum was Motown. My mum would be hoovering around singing, you know, Baby Love and everything. And then my brothers got me into Squeeze, into Madness, into ELO, who's one of my favourite bands in the world. Right. The Police. I mean, everything. I mean, like every single music. 50s as well, going back to Jimmy Jones, Good Timing. And just all kinds of music. My house was very musical, and my dad had all brothers, and they was always around playing cards. Smoke, you couldn't see each other through the smoke, and it was like, and there'll be tunes playing. It was beautiful, man. It was rough and ready in Hackney, but it was lovely, man. Brilliant community.
Sounded like almost like a music university course you did when you were young, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I was 8. I was in college. I was in the College of the Hard Knocks in Hackney.
So was that your feeling? Was like music was your ticket out?
Yeah, music was. Yeah, do you know what? It wasn't so much at first. It wasn't so much a ticket out because I loved where I was. I didn't want to go anywhere. I loved it, and I became a rapper and MC because there was a lot. I was on all the pirate stations in London, and there used to be Cool FM and Rush FM at the back of my house because I lived on an estate called Pembury, and then you had Nightingale, and there was Cool, there was Rush, and there was like these older MCs like who are legends now, like Shabba. And all that, and I used to think, oh man, all the girls like him, and like he's cool. I want to be like him. Do you know what I mean? And then I used to copy their lyrics at first, and then I got to write my own. Then I became my own thing. Like I was resident at Camden Palace. I used to MC at Powerhouse in Stratford. Like I was MCing in nightclubs from when I was 18. I was a real big part of the garage scene.
That's sort of like, were you like freestyling that kind of thing? Was that kind of your?
I used to write my lyrics. I used to like write my lyrics. Right. So I've got a Cockney lyric. I'll even drop it for you now. It's like, because I was the Cockney rebel. So it was like, hello, sunshine, what do you know? How's your father and how's your aunt Flo? Bethnal, Clapton, Poplar, or Bow in the East End, that's all you need to know. Pie and mash, jelly dills, many grants and there's many fills. That's all part of the East End life. That's when you're living in the trouble and strife. Mutvicar, pie and liquor, Ronnie and a reg and a fruit and a veg, and just on and on like that kind
of thing. Quality, wicked. You were called the Cockney Rebel.
Yeah, 2 ton. Like I was 2 ton, but like because of my weight, I was always a big lad. And but 2 ton was my MC name. But everyone used to call me the Cockney Rebel because I used to bring that Cockney side out, which no one was doing at the time. Which I just copied from Madness, Chaz and Dave, Lonnie Donegan, you know, all these guys.
The long history of it. Well, because that sort of stuff absolutely fascinates me. The rhythms and the way it all fits together, and that I'm just. Something I couldn't do it. Like, I mean, I'm a songwriter myself, and I reckon you could.
I reckon you could.
From the Twickenham Massive, that's me.
It's the way we keep picking them when we're rolling in Twickenham. We keep on hitting them.
Yeah, we should call it the Narm. I come from Narm, Twickenham.
I come from Narm, Dagenham or Twickenham.
So that was kind of you were doing this sort of stuff when you were growing up. It must have been a hell of a scene to be on, and
it was great.
And what a great sort of live scene to start out on.
It was just so good, and I mean, I used to chat a lot of like ragga music, like Jamaican patois kind of music. I loved that, and I remember I'd be in parties in Hackney, like just standing in a basement, just chatting. You know, just give me the rhythm and all that, and everyone used to get rewinds, and it was a magic time, man. Like when you're young, though, I think that's young as well. That's not just music. When you're young, everything's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I joined an Irish band when I was 17, and
I love Irish bands, man. I love the fiddle, man. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, I was doing that, so I was sort of like in these Irish sessions and these after hours and just Guinness and songs, and just it was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. But that was my alternative. That was my version of what you were getting up to. So what sort of age did you get like recording at that point, or did you start, or did singing come first? What were you doing?
I was always singing from a little kid. I used to win talent contests when I was a kid. I won us a holiday to Haven before singing. When I was 10, I think I sang Elton John, Yellow Brick Road.
That's a great song.
At Haven, yeah, and yeah, just been singing. But I actually didn't record. I used to write songs at home, and they was terrible. When I first started out, you know, really simple. But in the end, just I didn't start recording until I think I started recording when I met up with a guy from a group which used to be called Amazulu in the 80s. They done Too Good to Be Forgotten. Do you remember them?
I don't remember them. No.
Too good to be forgotten. I'll never ever let you go.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of like, and he was the only guy. He's like got these dreads. He's a lovely guy, and he's from Hackney. And he said to me, look, we was making a garage tune called Music for the People on E8 Records, man. And and then he said to me, look, I think you can do more than this. So he had a friend called Chris Neal, who was the producer of Celine Dion, Think Twice, and Mike and the Mechanics, which I love. I love Paul Carrack.
Yeah,
and so we sent it. Yeah, so
I can hear that actually. I can hear that in your voice. Got a same sort of soulful. He's got a real soulful voice, isn't he?
Oh, he's been one of my greatest inspirations. Like that guy, I love his voice. He's got real soul.
I discovered him when he was singing with Squeeze. That's when I first heard him. Obviously, I heard the Michael Mechanic stuff before that, but when I really heard him properly on that, Something Fantastic Place, and he was playing with Squeeze.
Yeah. We done Ace, didn't he? How Long as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, his voice is just crazy good. I mean,
it's crazy good soul, man. He talks to my soul. And so this guy, he said, look, I know this producer called Chris Neal, and we're gonna so I recorded Charles and Eddie. You remember that? Would I Lie to You?
Yeah, Would I Lie to You?
Just over bongos with no music, just a cappella. And then this guy Chris Neal, he ended up signing me when I was, I think, 18. He signed me, and I went and recorded. We found loads of songs I was writing as well. And Paul Carrack actually wrote one of the songs I done, which was beautiful because he wrote it with Chris Neal. He's Chris Neal's good friend. And I recorded an album at Metropolis. I was 18. I thought, man, I've made it. But it didn't end up coming out in the end for some unknown reason, you know. So that's fair enough. And then that was it, really. And I've always, my whole life, to earn money, I've always been a grafter. I was on fruit stalls when I was a kid. All through my music, I've been working, you know. From when I could earn a pound note, I was out doing it, you know.
See, but even though that song didn't come out, I mean, what a great experience, and it's all part of the ingredients that go into making you who you are. You know, that experience is obviously something that stuck with you.
It was a dream. You know, Paul Carrack wrote a song for me. I even copied the way he sang the demo, like certain ways, like nicked some of his, you know, the way, you know, just like he's certain twang.
So what sort of came after that then? How did it develop on from there?
So then what happened? It didn't happen for me, and I had a little bit of a mini breakdown. Just was really depressed in my life. I was young. I think I had a little midlife crisis at about 20, 22 or something, maybe. So
sounds like me. I did that. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a sort of an age where you kind of like, you maybe earned some money, you've tried something, and then it hasn't come off, and then you sort of you're still young enough so you haven't settled down yet. So it's a bit of a dangerous age, isn't it, I suppose? Yeah,
that's right. And so I was a bit lost. So I rang up an old friend called John Saunderson. In this time, before that, I wrote a top line which became a #3 hit in America and England. But I got ripped off on it, and I knew I was gonna. But in the end, this earned me everything off the back of it. It was My for Armand van Helden, which is like one of the classic dance tunes of all time. And I wrote the verses, but it was originally a sample, an 80% sample from Gary Wright. So I'd done that, and that all happened. So I was like a legend in the manor, you know, blah blah blah. and then, like I said, I had my time. I was a bit lost and all that. And then I was just doing writing here, writing there. I was always emceeing through this time, always. But I was getting a bit bored of it at certain times because I've done it so long. So then I went to a guy called John Saunderson, who I went to see as an artist years before with Chris Neal. And I said to John, I knew he owned Notting Hill Publishing now, who I'm signed to now, but John since left, which I'm not happy about because I love John. So what happened? I rang John up and I said, look, John, give me a chance. I was a dustman then. I was working for Hackney Council as a dustman, which I worked there for 10 years, which I loved. I loved being on the bins. I love being on the bins, mate. Like, I was skinny then as well. I was walking 12 miles a day, man.
I was going to say, you must be walking miles.
Yeah, so it was brilliant. And all that time, but I was knackered and I was writing after my bins. And by that time, I think I was 25. I had my first kid, my first boy, Sonny. And so that happened. And then John said, all right, I'll give you a chance. I'll send you my top lines. And if you get more cuts than my writers, then I'll talk to our main guy, who's Andy McQueen, who's turned out to be one of my lifelong friends. He's helped me out so much, you know, and he's my publisher and my manager as well. And I ended up getting loads of cuts with John. Like they was calling me the cut master, saying I've got more cuts than a barber. And then done that, and then John signed me to Notting Hill, and then everything just went well. And through the time, just been getting loads of different cuts here and there, and always singing. People always want to keep me on the record when I do it, and stuff like that, which is nice, and it means double bubble for me as well. So yeah, that's about it really. You've been
songwriting, and I've seen a few. You've got a few songs away with some well-known stars in you.
Yeah. I've got off hat thinking, like I had that Armand van Helden, My, which done really well. I've wrote songs with Fleur East. I've had songs with quite a few big DJs like Purple Disco Machine. We had a big hit in France a couple of years ago, which was on a sample actually from Clady Bell, Private Number.
Oh right, yeah.
Just the start of it though, the front riff. So that was great. So I've officially wrote a song with Booker T now, which is one of me cross off the list. There you go.
Done.
And yeah, so that done well. And I've done one with Klingande. He's a massive DJ. And now at the moment, I've got a single out called Painkiller, and I love it.
Yeah,
man.
I was looking at Spotify, some of your stream numbers. I mean, crazy. I mean, so Could Be Love, 10 million.
Yeah.
The Klingande one, the Ready for Love, was 5 million. I mean, bloody, that's like massive numbers.
It's crazy.
So, like, what's that like when you get? At what point do you start to realise that is like going that big? I mean, it must be crazy when you just realise how many people are listening to that.
Yes, it's really nice. I love it, man, and I'm proud of it, and it's really good. And I haven't really, you know, I've just wrote my songs and I put them up there. I haven't really tried too hard, but a lot of the listens have come from because I've done covers. For start, I hope I write good songs, whether they're in dance. I mean, that Could Be Love. I sound like a chipmunk on it. They've twisted my voice up.
I was going to say, it sound like you, yeah.
It suits the record. Whatever suits the record, and sometimes that kind of thing suits it. And that DJ Deepend, he's got a lot of followers. So when you do a record with someone like him, you get a lot of views from his listeners, and they open up your audience. You know. Yeah.
So you might start because your name's on that. And then people sort of check out, who's this guy, Joe Killington? I'm going to go and check out what else he's done. And then you get knock-on views from it. It must be great also on get loads of remixes and stuff. I mean, what was the Devil in Me, Fatboy Slim remix?
I loved it. I love that remix of it, man.
How did that come about? How did those sort of things come about?
Well, I think that was just through Sony France or Sweat It Out, because it was a weird way. It was signed to Sweat It Out originally in Australia, and then they licensed it onto Sony in France, and that's where it became a big hit in France. And so I think they must have contacted Fatboy Slim and say, you know, here Norman, get on this, you know, like kind of thing.
So what was that? I mean, how did you hear he was doing it?
I heard from Purple Disco Machine's manager Matt, who's a good friend of mine, Matt Jagger, and I was like over the moon. I was like, man, Fatboy Slim, I love Fatboy Slim. I love the House Martins. Not even Fatboy Slim. I love Happy Hour. I love, you know.
Yeah.
Caravan of Love.
Beats International.
That'd be good to me, yeah.
That'd be good to me. I mean, that's a classic.
No, I bought that on a 12. I bought that out of the shop when I was a kid, man. On the 12 inches, yeah.
I know he's playing proper dub like bass line, isn't it? That's like that on that one in fairness. But he's like stuff that he's done. Just it's just a classic, isn't it? Like all the stuff he's done over the years. He's always. I mean, also if you're probably similar sort of age to me, that's all the massive stuff he did in like the with all the stuff he did in the 90s and through to all the stuff he did with David Winehouse. Not everyone else. When he does stuff he did through from House Martins right through, and he's always had hits, isn't he?
He has. He's got a good brain. He's got a good ear for music. That's no doubt about that. Sorry.
So I'm just going to say, like things like "Praise You" and these sort of huge hits.
It's massive.
And was it like hearing him on your stuff?
Oh man, I was ecstatic, you know, and I loved it. You know, that's the main thing with music. I find, like, you know, everyone likes to earn money, everyone likes to do this, but what you really do music for is for your soul. And I do music because I'm a fanatic of music. I love hearing other people's songs. I like getting into artists, and I like old music. Really, I'm a bit behind on times. Really, I do listen to the new stuff, but I'm like, you know, 60s is probably my favorite era of music. Probably.
I think your voice, you could have been in any one of those eras.
Yeah,
you could have. I mean, you could have been like an old soul artist. You could have sung disco. You could have done one in the 80s or anything sort of loads of 90s soul.
Yeah.
You could have played sung all that, any of that stuff, and you could probably do rock as well. I bet you could do a mean rock voice as well.
She's got another fantasy.
Look at that! He's a chameleon, musical chameleon.
Well, I was saying because of being such a fanatic of music from a kid. I mean, music has just always been my all and my be. It's always been everything. Just like there's nothing, and I'm not really good at anything else. Music is my thing. I can't change a plug. I'm useless, but I know how to write a song. I know how to write a song, and because I know all them styles, I can mimic people. I'm an actor in a way, so I can mimic people. So that's why I can sing. I'm in an indie band as well called Days Indoors, which is great. And like that, I'm singing like in between Kelly Jones and Michael Stipe. Is it Stipe out of REM?
Michael Stipe, yeah.
Kind of like him. So I'm singing like that, and then it helps with writing because no matter what comes in, I can write that style because I know every style of music from the 20s, you know, to now. You know?
And also, like, what I think is probably massive positive about being involved in that sort of dance music side of it is it's all collaborations. You must meet some fantastic people, and you know, you probably collaborate more than you would maybe in other genres.
Oh, definitely. And do you know what? There's so many. I've made so many great mates. They're my greatest mates of ever. Do you know? They think like me. We're all sensitive souls as well. A lot of musicians, man, all of us, and we're all trying to get somewhere. And people at different levels, and just nice people. And I've made so many friends. And there's no magic feeling of writing a song with one of your mates, and you just love it. Sometimes that's even better than getting it released. That you've got it in the studio and it's done and it's brilliant. You believe in it. Then there's the dream of it could be this, could be that. You know. But
you obviously love the act of actually creating the song first. And
I mean, songwriting is just, you know, when are we writing? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that sounds great to me. I'll definitely be up for it. I'm definitely up for it. Because I've done songwriting on my own. I've done very few co-writes because of the way that my career's gone and stuff like that. And it's something that I've just, from doing these interviews and talking to more people, I've been missing out with collaborating with people. And I mean, I love listening. I've been running a few open mic nights, and I love hearing other people singing. And I realise it's something I should be doing much more of. And
I think you'd enjoy it. On that. I think you'd enjoy it. And do you know what? Sometimes it is a hard thing because sometimes you might be just absolutely brilliant on your own and you want it your certain way, and that's fine, you know. And I've got a lot of friends like that. I've got people who are just crazy talented, and they're all right on their own, and they don't want anyone. They don't want to compromise, because if they compromise, then they're, you know, that's their song. But for me, I think you can get a better song if you're a bit open-minded. You might come up with something and have a hit in a genre you don't even know, because you've opened that gateway up, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, I was in bands for years. So I was always part of a team. So I've only sort of recently, the last couple of years, gone out my own, and I'm thinking, well, okay, well, maybe now's the time is right to start reaching out to people. So, right, I'm going to stick that in my diary. Right, so tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, mate. I'll be round. And we're going to do a house classic.
So, what would be sort of like, what would you say would be the highlight of your career to date?
Right, one of the highlights of my career is when I was signed to Chris Neal, and I went. Well, it's so hard. You put me on because I've travelled the whole world doing songwriting. So I was just come back just before lockdown. I was in Martinique, laying on the beach with John Saunderson, writing songs at a reggae camp, like at a West Indian, it was everyone from the islands. We was writing songs, which an album's coming out soon, actually. And that was magic. That just laying there and thinking, God, man, I have come far. Like I was emptying Mrs. Jones's bins the other week, and now I'm laying in the sea in paradise. But I would say my one moment that springs to my head is when I went and I wrote a song with a guy called Phil Pickett, who was my greatest mate. He wrote Come a Chameleon with Boy George, and he was in a group called Sailor as well.
Okay.
And he was like one of my mentors when I first got together, who I used to write with. And we wrote a song with Graham Lyle, who's my favourite lyricist of all time. Graham Lyle, if no one knows, he was Gallagher and Lyle. So they wrote I Want to Stay With You, I Wear My Heart on My Sleeve, Breakaway. And then he wrote McGuinness Flint, When I'm Dead and Gone. He's the singer on that as well. And he also wrote What's Love Got to Do With It? I mean, so many classics. The geezer, Who needs a heart when the heart can be broken? It's one of my favourite lyrics of all time out in Latina. And I wrote a song with him and Phil Pickett. So we goes to the studio in Surrey to meet Terry Britton, who wrote Just Good Friends with Graham Lyle. And we're recording on the Beatles' old desk on a reel-to-reel live time. I've got Hamish Stewart on bass from the Average White Band. Phil Pickett playing keys, Graham Lyle on guitar, and I'm singing live on a reel-to-reel. And to me, that is I was ecstatic, man. I nearly fainted. I was so ecstatic, man, because they're my idols, you know.
Super out of body experience for that one.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Chalk that one up. Nice there. Excellent.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about a couple of things. One is obviously your new single, which is Painkiller.
Yeah.
So there's remixes out of that as well, isn't there? For people to check out. Tell us a bit about Painkiller. Tell us a little bit about the song.
The song, yeah. Painkiller was about Sam Gray, one of my friends. He lives in Nashville now. He's a part of a group called Brandon Gray, who are brilliant, by the way. plug. And he's he's an absolute gem of a songwriter. I mean, and he's a singer. And Andy McQueen, one of my best mates, who's my label manager, introduced me and Sam. And since then, mate, it's just been he's a real music man from Hull up north, northern boy, lovely boy. And he's become one of my greatest friends, and he's such a talent. And we wrote it with a guy called Danny Kirsch as well, who's one of my best. I know I say everyone's my best mate. You say you can't have all best mates. So Danny Kirsch, yeah, you can. So Danny Kirsch and him, and we was in the studio, and we said, we were thinking about. Obviously, we were getting together to write a title, but we'd all been watching these, and everyone's experienced it when you see a woman and you can tell she's being beat up, and I hate that. I hate violence to anyone, but and seeing programs and just thought, and Sam had the idea for a title called Painkiller, which I went, oh, it's brilliant. And then we kind of bounced, and in the end, we said it'll come round to this, I'll be that person you can come to, because we all want to be that painkiller for that someone who's being hurt. Because it's a bad thing. I mean, a lot of kids, they grow up with their mum getting bashed up, or their dad. Sometimes the woman's beating the man up as well. So it's a real sensitive thing, and it means a lot to us. And so that's why we wrote that, yeah. And it just come out, and truthfully, it wrote itself. It was just line for line. We was playing tennis, me and Sam and Danny, just going bonk, 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 and it wrote itself.
It's one of those moments that you get such a good concept for a song that it's just that's the hard work done, isn't it? And then everything just pours out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So that's how that came about. Yeah, and it's really good. And there is some good remixes about a solar track, really good. That's probably my favourite mix. I shouldn't say that, but it is. Which is really dark house. And then you've got Sidney Sampson, the legend, who done Riverside. He's got a mix, and that's going down really well. And then you've got Otto Benson. And there's also going to be some more mixes coming up. I know definitely one from Alex Kirsch, who's Danny Kirsch's son, who's only 17 and he's an absolute whiz kid like his dad. And yeah, and it's just really exciting. And we're getting so much airplay in America on the dance stations and that. And it's like, where are, you know, everyone's going to me, oh man, you've made it. What? Buy me this car, buy me that car.
Well, talking of sons, your boy is doing really well as well. I had a quick look on your Instagram, and I've seen that video of him singing. I mean, what a voice!
He's got some pipes, man. I tell you, I'm so proud of him. And he just was on The
How old
Voice.
is he?
He's 14.
Wow, what a voice! He was on The Voice Kids, Voice Kids, yeah.
Yeah, he got really far. He went up to the battle rounds in it, and he got 4 people turning around, standing ovation. He truthfully is a chip off the old block, but I think he's going to be a better writer than me, because we've been going in the studio writing, and he's been coming up with some lines. He's going, Dad, that's a bit old and cliche. Like, do you know what? That is better, you know. So we've been writing for him. We've been writing.
Now go to your room.
Yeah, now go to your room and give me your sweets before you go. So he's doing really well. He's coming along leaps and bounds. And my little daughter Lily as well. She's 11. She raps. She MCs the drum and bass.
Oh man, this is going to be the Killington family killing it.
We're going to be the Osmonds, mate. We're going to do Crazy Horses. Bring it back.
Been a long time since there's horses in Hackney.
Oh yeah, that's right. Over the markets.
Oh, absolutely brilliant! And so, what's next for you? What's next for you then? You've got Painkillers out now. What's next?
What's next? I've got some big things happening in the pipeline. Like I've got some big cuts where I've just wrote them, but I'm not on them, kind of thing. I don't want to say what it is yet because I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Oh, right, okay.
But I've been working with Disciples, who's like one of my favourite dance acts, and they're good friends of mine. And we could have something coming out, which would be lovely. They done the Calvin Harris record, "How Deep Is Your Love,"
all right,
with them. So they're really big. So I've got something with them. What else have I got? I mean, I've got so much going on, I can't remember it.
Sounds like doors open up for you left, right, and centre.
I write every day, you know, not Saturday, Sunday, but every Monday to Friday, I'll always write. And I have done for years. So you think of how many songs. I mean, a lot of them are garbage. You know what I mean? But a lot of wasted words. What's that?
Law of averages. One is going to be all right.
Exactly. We'll see what sticks. So yeah, I've got loads of things happening. But I also think I've wrote the follow-up for Painkiller with the same team, but now with Danny Kirsch, Sam Gray, and his partner Casey Brown, who's he just got married to in Nashville. She's an excellent Nashville, you know, one of them. Just knows how to say the right things in the simplest way. Yeah. So we've done that, and we've wrote a song, and I really like it, and it's a lot to do with, because I'll be honest, since the lockdown, like I said, I bought a pub in my garden, but then it become too much. So since then, I've kind of got a bit of help and stopping drinking. And the next song, you know, the next song's all about that journey. It's about when we need each other, you know, when we need to recover, we all have to lean on each other, kind of thing.
Absolutely. I've just gone 3 years without a drink. Just turned 3 years in October.
Well done, man. I'm 6 weeks.
Well, early. We'll maybe have a chat off camera about this. Yeah, I'm sort of. It's early days, but yeah, I found it so rewarding as far as what I was able to do. My mind woke up.
All the music has opened up. I mean, every day, Andy or Ken Commissar, my label managers, who I love, by the way, keep ringing me up every day with good news. It's because I'm in a positive way. I ain't coming down. I ain't feeling down in myself after I've been on a bender and I'm down and I don't want to see anyone and I'm depressed, you know. I feel like I've had a new lease of life, man. I found my higher power, so to say.
Fantastic. That's it. It's just, I mean, it's honestly, it just gets better and better. That's all I can say.
Brilliant.
I just found another, not just another gear, another 2 or 3, 4 gears, and my head clears, and I mean, the gates just opened as far as creativity. I mean, it sounds like you haven't got much room to get any more creative than you already are, but
no, I think we have. I think everyone always, man. But do you know what? I always did say, like, it ain't me writing the songs, because most of the songs, I don't know where they come from. It just flows. Do you know what I mean? Bang. You know?
It's one of there's people, there's that sort of thought that songs are floating around and they come to you. You don't create them. They come to you. I truly believe I think there's a lot of truth in that. There's a lot of truth.
I believe that. I believe that.
You have to be in the right place to receive them.
Exactly, on the right level of on the right frequency kind of thing.
Absolutely right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, that's brilliant. We always normally ask for recommendations. We've had about 4 million off you already during this one conversation. But we always ask a recommendation of music that people need to know. Is there somebody you'd recommend people to check out other than Sonny Killington?
Yeah, so, there's Lily Killington, there's Johnny Killington, and there's Danny Killington, the Danny brothers, the Killington sisters, the Killington cousins. No, I would recommend, at the moment, I'm writing with a great artist. She's signed to Island Records, which is Amy Winehouse's label where she was signed. Bob Marley, I mean, everyone, loads of artists.
U2.
She's called U2, yeah. Bishop, her name's Bishop, so BSHP. And I've co-wrote a new single with her. And it's out at the moment, and it's called Nevermind. And she's absolutely brilliant. She is like Mariah. She's the best, truthfully, and I've worked with so many vocalists. She's the best English girl vocalist I've worked with.
Wow. And you work with a lot.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot. I've worked with everyone. I mean, and we've got more or less a whole album ready. And this is just the first single. But we're getting a lot of love, and it's been added on to a lot of playlists. But she's absolutely a lovely spirit as well. Just a lovely person, you know.
Fantastic. Well, we'll put a link to her stuff in the description so everyone can go and check her out. And obviously, and to your stuff. What's the best place for people to keep in touch with what's going on?
Yeah, if they could follow me at Joe Killington. So I always say Killing with T-O-N written on the end, because I speak Cockney. I don't say my name properly. I say Joe Killington. Which sounds like so it's Killing. So it's Killing with T-O-N in the end. Joe Killington at Joe Killington on Instagram, and on Facebook I'm Joe Two-Tongue Killington, TWOTON Killington. But really hit me up on the Insta, you know, and just follow my stuff, and on Spotify Joe Killington. Yeah. Listen,
fantastic. It sounds like you're on a real upward curve here, and it's fantastic. You obviously love what you do.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
That's the best place to be.
Of course, man. We're so lucky to have a talent, to be given a talent that we can make these songs that can change people's lives and make them feel happy, like Stevie's songs change mine, you know, or like, you know, wherever you go to, when you're down, when you're happy, when you're this, when you're that, you know.
Absolutely, yeah, brilliant. Well, listen, good luck with it all, and look forward to
Ronan.
Look forward to so much more success for you, because it sounds like you're just about to explode. So
thank you, man. Thanks, Ronan. And I definitely do want to write with you if you're up for that.
Absolutely, 100%. Let's exchange numbers after all this, and then and then we can keep in touch, and also, you know, we can keep in touch on the old personal things as well. So I'm always here to help with that sort of thing. So
wicked, my brother.
All right, wicked, nice one. Cheers, Joe. Listen, good luck with everything. Thank you so much for doing this. It's fantastic to hear your story and what a story it is. And good luck for the future.
Cheers, Ronan. You too, mate.
Cheers, Joe.